Hello, this is the developer commentary behind Ryan's Apparition Wandering Restaurant. It was a game made by me, as well as Magical Blueberries, also known as Joey, for Crumbled Ham, also known as Ryan. Let's get right into the game and then I can give you some context behind it.
Hello, mindless cogs, plebeians of idiocracy, or whatever term is politically correct nowadays to address your minions with. Welcome to the official RAWR employment guide. In this video I'll give you hot tips and tricks to help make your working experience just as fulfilling as eternal and without escape. Don't worry, that's a joke. No one cares if you find working here fulfilling or not. I can say that now, you already signed a contract. To help you along, I will personally give you my top 7,323,589 tips over the span of the next 9 days, 6 hours and 43 minutes on how to succeed as a cog in a big machine that you find as your new current place of employment. Tip number 1. The screen will allow you to see a physical representation of the game itself. Yeah, so I intended to make a tutorial on how to play the game before you played it, but then I realized that there being over 7 million tips kind of slows the pacing down to a grinding halt. So we're just going to skip to the end. I mean, you don't need a tutorial, it's FNaF. It's just FNaF, you already know how to play FNaF. Good luck, try not to die. And that's why you should never trust a furry when they bring you to the milk room. Alright. Now that you're ready and sufficiently indoctrinated, we at RAWR Corp wish you all the luck. Go and earn me another Lambo, tiger.
Hello? Is anyone there? Why aren't you responding? I know someone picked up, so can you just not hear me? Are you a mute? Wait, hold on, let me check your files. Okay, it says here that you are, in fact, incapable of speech. Also, it notes that you have a severe head and neck injuries, and that you can only look in the left and right about 45 degrees, and you're bound to a wheelchair. Who hired you as a security guard? The doors aren't even big enough for it to fit a wheelchair through. How'd you get in there? Okay, impracticalities aside, as a manager of this RAWR establishment, I'm supposed to help you get started. Your job is pretty simple. Your main duty is to patrol the halls. You can't walk. Seriously, who the fuck hired you? Are you the CEO's nephew or something? I'm not trying to make fun of the disabled, but fuck, this feels like hiring a fish to climb a tree. Okay, you know what? Just stay in that room. Use your towel to check the cameras around the premises. If you see someone, just bump into them or something. Now, here's one caveat. The business has been struggling quite a bit as of late. We've been under heavy legal fire because of the animatronics that keep malfunctioning, especially around children. Last week alone, 2 of them went missing due to overexposure. And let me tell you, children go missing in your family restaurant is not great PR. However, some people still keep coming to this restaurant despite all the bad press. I think it has to do with this town's low literacy rate, and the fact that this is the only restaurant and the local church doesn't condemn. I actually told the priest about the incident, so he kind of just brushed it off. I don't know why they don't warn the kids, especially ones that attend church regularly. Sorry, I'm rambling a bit. Basically, I'm trying to say that the animatronics can be very dangerous. Luckily, you can trace them with the tablet, and always just stay in the room where they're not. Right, I forgot you can't walk. Well, maybe just try to close the doors and hope for the best. I'm like 80% certain that they can't break through them. 70. You'll be fine. Good luck, Tiger.
So, this game is very interesting because the story and assets were mostly made by Joey. I was the only one that did the programming. I helped out in assets here and there, and I helped out in the story here and there as well. I also did the voiceover for the phone guy. And the interesting thing about this story is that it's very out there. It's definitely exaggerated to the point of being funny, and that's very much a point we wanted to reach. We didn't really want this game to be horror or scary per se, even though it takes a lot from what FNaF. Well, it takes a lot of the ambience from FNaF and it applies it here. We definitely wanted to make the game not feel as serious. The game does not take itself seriously, which is awesome. Like I like the idea of a game that does not take itself seriously. But the first thing that this game, the first thing you need to know about this game is that there's only 2 animatronics on the first night, which is Ryan and Joey. Ryan is the yellow one, Joey is the pink one. Ryan shows up on your left door, Joey shows up on the right door, and they never intertwine. That means that Joey will never appear on the left door and Ryan will never appear on the right door. They both have a set path. They don't walk around the pizzeria at random. So they do, but they don't skip rooms. They always have a set path. So if they're in the main hall, that means that they have 2 options. Either they go to the kitchen or they go to the pizza cove. They don't skip all the way to the office, for example. And both of them can get into the kitchen. That's something that it's definitely something that some people miss, is that the fact that they both can be in the kitchen at the same time. So you may never be able to see them in the cameras or the office, which means they're probably both in the kitchen making noise. This game has a broken camera, which also sets some people off, like they don't know exactly what the broken camera means. It's broken in the sense that it's fallen down, it's on the floor, it's cracked, it's hard to see what's happening, but it does work. And the only animatronic that can show up on the broken camera is Ryan. Ryan can show up on the left side of the door, and before it enters the office, it always shows up on the broken hallway camera. You can just barely make out its feet. Some people cannot see it very well, but I think that's fine. You don't necessarily require to see him there to know that he's on your left door. So for the first night, there's 2 main strategies that you can employ. The first one being, and this is true for the rest of the game as well, always keep track of where everybody is. So if Ryan is on his way to the left door, imagine he's on the pizza cove. So you keep a mental image of him being in the left side of the pizzeria. And for example, Joey is still in the dining area. That means that, okay, I should probably prioritize Ryan. Should probably take a more attentive look at Ryan because he's closer to my office than Joey. So what you do then is you pull down your camera, try to preserve as much power as possible, and after a while, after a few seconds, if you're unsure if they've moved or not, then you pull up back your camera and you check where both of them are. And if you can find one of them, make sure that they're not on the broken camera or the kitchen. And if they're not, if you can make sure that they're both not on the broken camera or the anywhere else in the pizzeria really, then they're probably in your office. You can always use the lights to check, but the lights are not a guarantee in this game. In fact, we have a broken light mechanic that a lot of people get thrown off by. It's definitely an original mechanic for RAWR, which is if you press the light button too many times, the light falls off and breaks. And there's no way to fix it until the night is over. That's a mechanic that essentially forces you to pay attention to the cameras and have a mental image of where everybody is. Looks like we won the night, and besides knowing where everybody is, the second strategy for the first night is to literally not do anything, because the only way that you can get jump scared by them is by opening up your camera. So if you never do so, and you just sit there not doing anything, you will guarantee to win the first night.
You weren't dead yet. Congrats. I wasn't entirely expecting that, but hey, I guess our bosses aren't as dumb as they seem, because apparently hiring you wasn't such a bad of a decision. And hey, you are even back for a second day. Or maybe you simply haven't left. But don't worry, I'll be back this weekend, and I'll make sure to call the fire department to come rescue you. I could come help you myself, but I'm actually in an undisclosed location right now. People in suits with big vans have been spying on the restaurant as of late, and I got hot feet. I think it may have something to do with all the children that went, missing. Anyway, back to business. You may have already noticed the room with the big pizza box. Yeah, one of the mascots is actually in there. It's Gizzy, a gross worm-like thing. It's not particularly the children's favorite, but the CEO's kid designed it, so it's sticking. The reason why I'm telling you this is because if the box isn't perpetually shut via the tablet, it comes leaping out at the closest human, which would be you. There's always this chance of a malfunctioning occurring, so if I were you, I would just make sure Kizzy doesn't pop out. Kizzy is actually a reason why we had to hire a new security guard 5 times over, but I'm sure you'll be fine. Anyway, good luck, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Goodbye.
Oh boy, the second night. Okay, so this is where the real challenge begins. This is where people really struggle with the game, which is understandable because we got the introduction of a brand new character. We got Kizzy. Kizzy is the worm or slug that you can be found on the pizza cove. It's inside the pizza box, and there's a button in your camera that allows you to wind the pizza box up so that Kizzy doesn't pop out and jump scares you. Kizzy is a parody of the puppet or the marionette from FNaF 2. Basically, Kizzy is the solution to the first night problem, which is to the first night that has the strategy of just never opening up the cameras. And to fix that, we need a way to kill the player while they have the cameras closed. So the way that we figure that out is we can use the marionette mechanic from FNaF 2 and kind of incorporate it here. But it's kind of different because FNaF 2 has a different gameplay loop in the sense that it has no power. There's no power for the whole pizzeria, it's only your flashlight. While in here, we do have power for the whole pizzeria. So you're kind of trading off power for winding up Kiz, which makes your available power for the whole night a lot less than normal. So it basically forces the player to do more power management, try to spare as much power as possible, never open up camera when it's not needed, never close the doors if you're not sure, 100% sure that somebody's outside, never shine your lights too much or they might break and also, take up more power. So Kizzy is the real challenge of the game, trying to manage everything while also keeping him well wound. But the strategy for Kiz is to try to get a feel for the timing. You don't have to wind up Kiz all the time, every time you open up the camera, at least not on the second night. The way that you should do this is open up your camera, look around, see where everybody is, make sure that they're in a position where you feel comfortable, where with the timings of everything. Like you feel like, oh, maybe Joey just entered this room, so it means that he can't get to my office in time to jump scare me, or enter my office that quickly. So in that meantime, if you feel like that there's nobody that's gonna come inside your office, then you go over to the pizza cove and you wind up Kiz all the way down. I always recommend winding up Kiz all the way down, but this depending on your situation, if you're in a dire situation where everybody's in your office all at once, then it might be a good idea to not wind up Kiz all the way down, just to conserve a little bit more power. Make sure people leave your office before you wind them all the way down. Which is also a good side effect, because if you wind Kiz all the way down and then you have a hectic moment where everybody's in your office all at once, it means you have a little more time to wind up Kiz again if you wind them up all the way down before the chaotic mess happens. So that's my tip for Kiz. It's definitely the biggest problem in the game, where people struggle a lot with it. But once you actually dominate the timings and you have a good feel for when Kiz is about to pop out or not, then I feel like it's more manageable. It definitely gets harder as the nights progress, but that's just how the game works. You might be wondering what milk means. Milk does have a meaning. It's never explained in the game, but as the developer I know what it is. We just couldn't incorporate it into the story in time. So milk stands for microisotope luminous kinetics, which is just a fancy way to say power. It's just a bunch of power words that come together to form the MILK acronym, which is a funny thing. It's kind of a funny inside joke between me, Joey, and Ryan. And so we kind of wanted to include it in the game as well. I can also talk about the theme of the game being the boy kisser meme. So the reason why Joey went for the boy kisser aesthetic is that both Joey and Ryan are furries, and they always joke around with the boy kisser meme. It's quite funny. So I wanted it to be in the game as well. I thought it would be quite funny for Ryan, because this game was made for Ryan. It was made for Ryan's birthday, and we wanted to make something special for him. So we decided to put on the boy kisser theme, and I think it fits pretty well. It's pretty funny, and it's also pretty cute. It doesn't make the game that scary. I quite like it. I just the problem with this is that Joey being also the assets, making the assets for the game, is that he drew me as a character as being the slug on the pizza box. I don't know why I'm a slug. He never quite told me. Like, I would be fine with just my little bean guy being in the box, but nope, he turned me into a slug, I guess. So I guess that's my legacy. It's just being a slug in the furry FNaF fan game.
Friday! Heck yes. I don't know about you, but I for one cannot wait to spend some time away from work. I mean, I don't even know what you'd be doing in your off time. Do you watch TV? You're always such a great conversationalist, buddy. Anyway, we are not the only ones who want to rush towards the weekend. Weirdly enough, the mascots do get a lot more active on Fridays. Good luck with that, by the way.
The first half of night 3 is just Same as night 2, except more difficult, as in all the mascots are more active, their random events are sped up, so they have less time to wait before they act, and that stays true for all the nights. Over here, I'm being overly attentive on the left side and not really paying attention to Joey at all. I assumed that Joey would not be in my office by the time that I closed the camera, which yeah, means that spoiler alert, I'm gonna get jump scared this night, so yeah, be prepared for that. It's a very scary jump scare. I kid. But yeah, this is a prime example of something of what I'm doing wrong. Like, I knew exactly where Ryan was gonna be, but I didn't know where Joey was gonna be. So I definitely took an L there and did not pay attention to Joey at all. So we're restarting night 3. Night 3 is also the last official night for RAWR. Once you beat night 3, you have beaten the game, you have beaten RAWR. You can go home knowing that you beat the Boy Kisser FNaF fan game. However, there is more to the game, and I will get to that once we actually beat night 3. But the game was made in a week. We only had once we decided on what we were gonna do. Ryan's birthday was next week, so we only had that 1 week span to make this game, which was a pretty fun challenge. Actually, it was kind of like a game jam. Game jam is where you do a video game in a very short amount of time. Some people do it in 24 hours, some people do it in 48 hours. Me and Joey did it in a week, which you know, it's still pretty good. I think I'm pretty proud of what I was able to accomplish within the 1 week period. There was obviously more I wanted to add to the game, like a lot more. If I were to develop this project further, I would give it a lot more features and stuff to do. For example, I would give, like, the original plan was to not have 4 cameras, but to have 6 cameras. The objective was to make a show stage camera where the animatronics begin the night in, so it would be further back from the dining area. It would, and the other camera, the 6th camera, was gonna be on the right hallway or the right room. We still haven't really thought of that, but it would probably be on the hallway. So you'd be able to see Joey before Joey enters your office, similar to Ryan. So yeah, the game would have 2 extra cameras, ideally, but we didn't end up having time to make the assets for that. So the game only has 4 cameras, which is fine. I think it just means that the difficulty is higher, because the last cameras you have to for the animatronics to walk in, that means they get to your office faster, which ramps up the difficulty, which I'm fine with since the game only has 3 nights. That's also something we wanted to have more of, is actually make it the full 5 nights at Boy Kissers instead of just 3 nights. But that would also require at least 1 more animatronic, in my opinion. The original Five Nights at Freddy's had Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy, as well as Golden Freddy. And our game only has Ryan, Joey, and Kizzy. So we only have 3 animatronics while the original had 5. We did also want to add like a Golden Ryan type deal, where one of the posters would maybe turn into a golden version of Ryan, and he would appear in your office, and you'd probably have to do something with him, probably flip up the camera up and down to get rid of him or something. I also wanted to add a lot more ambience to the game in terms of like random stuff that could happen. The original game had, for example, posters that would turn into crying children. It also had like random sound effects that would play, like the circus music, or Freddy singing, or just random sounds that would appear all around the pizzeria. This game does not have that, does not have any random events besides the pure gameplay loop stuff. which is something that I would definitely want to add on to the game if I were to work on it again, which I probably will not. I was with talks with Joey about this, and we probably will not continue developing RAWR. We're just focused on different things right now, which is a shame.
Oh, hello. So there is someone in there. I kind of thought you would have left once you had become feeling the heat sweltering around you, but I guess not. I know what you must be thinking right about now. Why is our handsome CEO here? Thank you for calling me handsome, by the way. If you weren't about to die, I might have given you a promotion for that. But to answer your question, I've had some scary looking people on my doorstep asking questions that I don't want to answer. So, what's a man to do in that situation other than destroy the evidence? Now, I understand that you are attached to your place of work. I know. No other restaurant offers animatronic entertainment for these competitive prices. But you don't have to go down with the ship. You can walk out like whenever you want. I can see from the window that you're not moving. Buddy, you can just, there's like a door, right there. Okay, well fine, okay, I get it. You're a good captain, I can respect that. Personally, I just take the government ballot like in '08, but to each their own. Now, we all know that there is no God, but I can pretend in your final moments. See you in heaven, minion.
So, the call you get at 3 AM on night 3 is very funny to me, because I also think that's not a thing that happens in FNaF. I don't think there's ever a call that you get like in the middle of a night. I think it's always at the start. So implementing a call in the middle of the night for RAWR was very unexpected for some people who played it, and I'm very happy about that. I love seeing people's reactions to that. It's a treat when they're not expecting a call in the middle of the night. And it's not from the fun guy, it's from the CEO, which is it's a change of pace. I don't think people were expecting to see the CEO in the actual game outside of the intro. And yes, the CEO is burning the place down. Unfortunately, we couldn't have the fire asset animation done in time, so we just used the GIF that we found on the internet. It looks kind of crusty, but you know, we also did have this burning idea and actually implemented it on the last day, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, that was kind of rushed then, but I think it works pretty well because it also has the gameplay impact. Once the fire is out, then all your lights, you only have like one more light to work with, then they all break. And the sound that the fire makes also makes it harder to know when somebody's, for example, in the kitchen, or when you're trying to listen for somebody entering your office. You might not be prepared for that. So it does have a gameplay impact. It also covers the screen pretty good, although it doesn't actually impact anything in game. Like, you don't lose more power because of it, you don't burn to death. We would definitely have to rethink this fire mechanic if we were to continue the game, like, development further. We did want to have, if we have more time, we'd probably have more assets to work with as well, so as the place is burning down, you'd actually see, like, all in the cameras, everything burning down and stuff. I think that'd be pretty fun. And yeah, look at that. We beat the entirety of RAWR, all the 3 nights, and yeah, that's it. That's all you really need to know to beat RAWR. Is keep an eye out on both the animatronics, keep your power up, try not to check the lights too often so they don't break, and just keep always winding up kills whenever there's an opportunity. That's the main focus of beating RAWR. However, as I discussed earlier, there is extras. You can try out a night 4 and continue the game past night 3.
What are you still doing here? Didn't you hear? The place suffered a massive fire. Apparently the company is going under after one of the higher-ups got arrested for destroying evidence in an ongoing case. I just came back to collect my things. The building's locked, so you're stuck there until the morning. I'm not coming back, so this is goodbye. Keep yourself safe, okay?
So yeah, Night 4. Night 4 is an interesting thing, because like, it's kind of mimicking Night 6 from the original FNaF, where it's like an extra night after you're done with 5, which is meant to be just a test of pure skill. How good are you at beating, at like mastering the mechanics that I put in the game. But starting from Night 4 and beyond, asterisks on that, we'll get to that later. Starting from Night 4, we have the access to a timer now. So, well, why is that here? Why is that a thing? So, when I was developing RAWR, this was already post-release, I was just showing the game to some friends. I realized that if you're gonna try Nights past 4, you're probably gonna do it for the challenge. You're probably doing it to get it done, try to test your skills as much as possible. So to kind of help out a bit and to, you know, give a lending hand to people who want to actually attempt this hard challenge, I'm giving them a timer. The timer lets them more easily time every action that the game has, and they can also plan their actions better. So it's an incredibly useful tool. Maybe not as a viewer, maybe you don't really get it, but if you're playing it, the timer, at least for me, it's very useful to keep sense of what I'm gonna do next. So like I plan my stuff around like, okay, when the timer reaches 40, then I'll check the cameras again, and then I'll wind up Kiz, and now if I wait 7 more seconds, then I'll be able to take a breather and then look for the animatronics, stuff like that. It's just a useful tool to have in the moment, and I think it's a good addition. Now, Night 4 itself is the last custom tailored night of the game. So like, Night 4 uses the same mechanics as Night 1, 2, and 3. Nights past 4 are not comprehensively tested, and they exponentially get harder. Night 4 is the one that's like still manually checked to make sure the difficulty is just right. And it's the same strategy from Night 3 applies. It's just a lot harder now because they move a lot faster. Especially Kiz. Kiz is the bullet that kills most players that get this far. He's so fast, and winding him takes a while. And while you can sometimes see them in the pizza cove, that's not a guaranteed. So after you're done winding up, because you then have to check the rest of the cameras, so it can be a big hassle. But just keep your cool, try to conserve as much power as possible, try to keep track of where everybody is at all times, and it also requires, yes, it does require a little bit of luck. But if luck is on your side, you will be able to beat Night 4. A lot of people have beaten Night 4 already, so I know, including myself, I know for a fact it's possible. It's not extremely hard. But Night 4 does... The start of Night 4 does mark the last piece of lore content that the game has. It's the initial call that the phone guy gives you, saying that the CEO got arrested and that the building got locked, the company's going under. So I feel like it wraps a nice little bow on the RAWR lore, even though it's quite short and probably nobody cares. I doubt I'll revisit this universe later, but if we ever do, we have room to work with. We definitely leave some ends like loose. There's a lot to pick this up from. But I doubt we'll do it. Maybe in the future, maybe not. Don't get your hopes up. But yeah, the Star Night 4 is the last piece of official content, so if you're not interested in beating a hard challenge, you're just here for what the game has to offer, then you don't need to beat Night 4, you're good. Although beating Night 4 does unlock something extra, it is not, it doesn't have any actual extra content to it, it's just more difficulty options. And yeah, looks like Kiz got this. Very unfortunately, we were at 4 AM there. But I guess you'll get to see the Kiz jump scare. After we do get jump scared, I'll just jump cut to the next 4 AM, so we don't get to see the same content again. On this run, we're at 4 AM with 11 liters of power, which means that we will have to rely on the RNG for the night end song to make it all alive, which is something you haven't seen in this playthrough yet, is the night song, but you'll definitely see it here. The strategy for the end of the night is a little bit different from the rest. Once it's the end of the night and you know that you don't have enough milk to survive, what you can do, and is what you should do, is you should just wind up Kiz to the best of your ability and just forget about Ryan and Joey, to the point where you're just trying to ride as much power for the most amount of time as possible so that you can finish the night just in time. So as you can see here, we made it to 5 AM with the limited amount of power we had. I just opened up the camera to wind up Kiz one more time, and now we're just gonna let it ride out. Kiz is gonna start his little jingle, but there's about a 15-second timer once the song starts. So if you can get a power out while the song is playing, then Kiz gets cancelled out, and then you get to start the night the power out sequence. And yeah, the Ryan shows up at your left door and starts playing the little jingle similar to Freddy. This song is a music box cover of Area Math from Minecraft, and I'm pretty happy with the effect I was able to make of the eyes. I think it looks pretty cool, and I'm really proud of it. But yeah, it is RNG based. There's 3 different categories for the RNG in this night out stage. But as you saw, we were able to beat it, and we did beat extra night 4 in RAWR, which is great. And with it reveals that your star keeps track of your highest score night. And yes, you can, after night 4, you can choose whatever night you want. So if you want to go back to like the 3rd night or the 2nd night, or you want to try out something even more difficult like what I'm about to do, which is night 20, then you're more than free to do it. The higher the night you beat, the higher the score will be in the main menu. It saves your progress. So if you beat night 20, you're gonna see a 20 next to your star on the main menu. And this is where I'll leave it. I'm gonna give you the best night 20 attempt I can show you. I have beaten night 20 in the past. It's not easy. it just essentially makes the game extremely hard. All the timings are all over the place. Everyone's fast. But yeah, I'll just leave it here for now, and I'll talk to you at the end of the video. So please enjoy this night 20 attempt. Unfortunately, I was not able to beat Night 20. If you want to try the game for yourself, it's in the description below. And if you do want to beat a night beyond Night 4, please let me know. I want to see you. I want to check that out. I want to see people beat nights beyond Night 4. That'd be amazing. A new game, a new FNaF fan game is probably going to be in the works soon. So look forward to that. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.